Good news for the Rays as they take another series after downing the San Francisco Giants by a score of 6-1 yesterday afternoon.
A lot of things to like about this early afternoon game. Offense, pitching, a lot of things. So let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on the social medias at Locked On Rays and email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Well, we mentioned the score of the Rays taking down the Giants 6-1 on the road at Oracle Park. The Rays improved to 73-50. The Giants fall to 64-57. And Ulises, as you alluded to, solid performances all around for the Rays, from the offensive end of things to the pitching end of things to in between.
Yeah, you saw everything, right? Let's start with Savale. I know the first two outings were underwhelming. I think it's a polite way of saying his first two starts. And then this one, he came out and shoved, man. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He got into a little bit of trouble there, but he danced around it. It's okay to get into trouble as long as you dance around it at the end of the day. And that's exactly what he did. I feel he's a pitcher, man. Like I know that he might not have the flashy 99 fastball at the top of the zone and a nasty slider / curveball with a nasty sweeper, but he knows how to pitch. Like, it's kind of like Eflin, it's kind of like Springs, the command and control of his pitches on the zone, I think will make him a stable contributor, somebody that you know that you can pencil in for a type of outing, and most likely than not, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and based on what we've learned about Shane McClanahan and others, I think that trade was so very important and so very needed that Aaron Savale, I assume, will be in a Rays uniform for some time, and it's nice to see a little variety and some difference between just the flamethrowers of throw as hard as you can and pray it finds the strike zone or misses a bat, where he actually works it. I think based on the numbers, he threw 6 different pitches, just how they're categorized. Very cool. Throwing the kitchen sink at it, but just overall with Savale, he's not going to walk a lot of guys. He's not going to induce a lot of hard contact. He's going to get some chases and some swing and miss. Like, he's a stable force as part of this rotation and pitching staff, and him being able to go 6 innings and make it relatively easy for the bullpen, where you give Perez, Poche, Adam, and Fairbanks to finish it up. That's just kind of the ideal start that you want to have. Not saying that every time out that Savale is going to go a shutty, 6 1/3, 5, 7 innings, whatever it may be. But I'm looking for multiple quality starts. Maybe a poor man Zach Eflin this season from Savale. That's, I think, a really reliable 3-4 type guy is what we can expect for him going forward. And I think that when we look down the road, that we'll say this was a shrewd, smart, needed deal for the Rays. Whatever Kyle Manzardo goes on to do, I just think in the present time, this is what was needed. And I recently pre-recorded an episode with Lindsey Crosby, host of Locked On MLB Prospects, and something that we've mentioned as well. The Rays had so much first base type prospects, and you have a guy named Yandy Diaz who's commanding the starting role as well. So something has to give at some point. So there's that.
And you're not asking Savale to do anything more than what he is. You said, he can be a solid 3-4 starter. That's exactly what you're asking him to do. You're putting him in a situation to succeed. Now, something else horrible happens, hopefully not, then yeah, you might be asking a little bit too much of him. But for right now, that's his role, and that's what he's doing, and I feel like that's an appropriate place for him to do so with his skill set. Regarding your Lindsey Crosby reference there, you guys should tune into that. It was quite a long conversation, so we might have to split that into a few episodes. But
yeah, so
he always has so much information. Like, you always, after talking to Lindsey, you just become a little bit smarter about everything.
Yeah, I think you all will enjoy that when that comes out, maybe sometime next week or the week after, whenever we program and schedule that. Some good insight on the MLB draft and some of the Rays' top prospects and sleeper prospects as well. He lives very close to Montgomery. He'll actually be calling some Montgomery Biscuits games in the near future. So he really has the ear in the eye to the Southern League and in that area where a lot of good baseball is played. So be sure to watch out for that. In the meantime, we have more to discuss on this game. But first, Ulises, we have to tell the audience about something really important.
Yes, we do. So I want to talk to you guys about Nutrafol, which is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement. Yes, clinically shown to improve your hair growth, visible thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements use physician-formulated, natural science-baked ingredients. Their drug-free, patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your sexual health. That's good. Go to Nutrafol.com/man to take their hair health wellness quiz. Identify causes of your thinning hair, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better hair health through whole body wellness. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting root causes of thinning, such as stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health. Wow. And it works in a clinical study. 84% of men showed improvement in their hair after 6 months taking Nutrafol men's hair growth supplement. So today, take the first step to visibly thicker hair, healthier hair. And for a limited time, Nutrafol is offering listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/man and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/man, spelled Nutrafol.com/man, and enter promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com/man, promo code LOCKEDONMLB.
So we mentioned the pitching side of things with Aaron Civale. There was also some offense to go around, some power to go around, as we saw home runs from Josh Lowe, him getting his 15th of the year. Brandon Lowe getting a bomb, his 100th of his career. And then Luke Raley continuing to surprise and impress with the awkward, unusual inside the park homer, which was talk about ricocheting and bouncing all over the place. And he deserved that stand up inside the park homer, because I think he hit the ball 425 feet and it didn't go over the fence. So he's good for him on that. And then those were certainly some of the contributions that allowed the Rays to get 6 runs. In any other ballpark, that would have been just a bomb, and he would have had a nice little trot around the bases. This one, he had to earn it with a lot of heartbeat pulses throughout, and getting his cardio work. Good for him. It was funny, man. I mean, it's that stadium is so quirky. It's beautiful, but I think they know that stadium more for its how picturesque it is, rather than how quirky it is. Like, right.
Because it's bleeping weird, man. And the wind current, I know Doug Wechter was talking about it with Andy Freed during the broadcast, like how it just kind of, the wind just goes all over the place due to like the current of the I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist, but yeah, they were just
where they're
talking how
located in the West Coast and San
something
Francisco
happens. There's
area.
some magic in San Francisco, and so the wind currents are crazy. So that was really cool. So Brandon Lowe, 100, man. Wow. That's and the fastest second baseman to do it, to get to 100. That's actually really remarkable.
That's a interesting and maybe somewhat surprising stat. I think some of it has to do with he has been in the big leagues for several years, but the injury history just hasn't allowed him to play as many games as you would expect. And also, he is the 7th Rays player to hit 100 career homers. Can you name the others?
Oh, this is good. Okay, please let's.
Now let me rephrase that. Well, I guess technically that's right, but players that have hit at least 100 home runs in a Rays uniform. They've certainly, many of them have gone on to hit additional homers in other uniforms.
Okay. Let's start with the obvious. Evan Michael Longoria.
He is number 1 on the list.
100 home runs. So you have to be here 5 years and around 20 home runs. 5 years and 20 home runs. Is there a lot of Devil Rays action here?
There's a little Devil Ray action.
Aubrey Huff.
Aubrey Huff is number 3 on the list.
Okay. Carlos Peña.
Number 2 on the list.
All right, 1, 2, 3. So we just need 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. And Brandon Lowe sneaked in there at number 7. Okay. Did Ben Zobrist hit enough? That seems like a no, but we're going to go with it. Ben Zobrist.
That would be correct as well. He is number 5 on the list.
How many?
I don't have that in front of me.
Does it say? Okay, that's okay. Okay, that's good. So I need 4 and 6. 4 and 6. Oh, Carl Crawford.
Yep, he's number 6. Number 4, this guy, uber talented, had all the tools, the skill set. Would sometimes get into spats with Evan Longoria. Some of his swing and miss.
BJ Upton.
Yeah. So there it is. So we can add Brandon Lowe to the list with Longo, Pena, Huff, Upton, Zobrist, Crawford. So really impressive feat for him. Solid feat for him. Does Brandon Lowe get to 150 career homers? Not necessarily in a Rays uniform, but just in baseball.
Yeah.
Does he get to 200?
That one is the one. I'm 150. I'm like so sure, but then I'm like, yeah, but the next 50, that means more playing time without injuries.
Yeah,
I can't put my hand on the fire for that.
That's the big bugaboo. There is health, availability, confidence, because he has a tendency to be very streaky and lose his way. And at some point, Father Time comes calling, sometimes sooner rather than later for others out there. But congratulations to him for sure. Yes. And just thinking about it, so I think that is his 16th homer of the year. Luke Raley is inside the Parker 17th homer. I mentioned Josh Lowe, his 15th homer. You have a lot of guys that are contributing in the home run sphere between Isaac Paredes, Siri, Randy, Wander, Raley, Yandy, Lowe, Josh Lowe. 8 guys who have double-digit homers, at least 15 homers, I should say. And then Harold Ramirez has 9. So you have basically a full lineup of guys who can put the ball out of the ballpark, and we still have, a month and a half of regular season ball to play.
Which that's exactly what you need in the playoffs. You need people to hit homers. You need people to have that capability so that at any time that can happen. And if you look up and down the lineup, I mean, look at that. Josh Lowe hits his 15th in the 4th inning. Brandon Lowe hits his 16th in the 5th inning, and Luke Raley hits his 17th in the 6th inning. Pretty cool. 15, 16, 17. Now, does Josh Lowe? I have a question for you. Does Josh Lowe get to 20? 5 away.
Yeah, I think he can get there.
That means he's a 2020 guy.
It's impressive.
It's impressive. Like this is the season that he's coming up with now is what we were all expecting last year. Sometimes development growth is not linear. So that's why you have to have some patience. And talking about having some patience and young players, shout out to Ulises Basabe. That was a nasty double play. The speed, the control, to the wherewithal, the baseball IQ of like, I have enough time to sprint to second base, tag it, and then throw to first, a potent throw, and get the 2 outs. Like, I like that from a young man that is trying to make his way, trying to find a lane for himself.
Yes.
That was a really good play.
That's what's needed for sure. We have to tell you something very important, and that is this. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. You can predict the hottest baseball stats like home runs, hits, strikeouts, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy skills. Use promo code LOCKEDON, and Sleeper will match your first deposit for up to $100. Did you know that Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world, with over 5 million active users in 2022, while earning some of the highest levels of engagement per user in the industry? At Sleeper, it's not just about sports, it's about building personal connections and lasting memories. So use promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 30 states. Check out Sleeper today. So before we end the program, I think we should mention this. Probably not going to go on a whole diatribe, but just the latest on the Wander Franco mess that is from Jeff Passan, who reported yesterday that Tampa Bay shortstop Wander Franco is being investigated by Dominican authorities and a division that focuses on minors / gender violence, and a judge who's a child abuse specialist are handling the case. It is in its early stages. Now, I should also note, I believe it was the Associated Press that reported it first, and then Jeff Passan reposted it, and we put it on our social media page. So that is the latest with Wander Franco. It appears that one way or the other, whoever you're choosing to believe at this moment, it's not just social media rumor mongering, that this is being focused on and honed in on by legitimate agencies and sources. So,
and it's I like the way you said, like, whatever happens, whatever is found, I think people hopefully understand that this is a serious thing and that it was taken seriously by the local authorities, by the local judges, and by MLB and by the team. Like, this is because it's a serious thing. Now hopefully we can all trust that the investigation is done correctly, and that whatever is the verdict is, or whatever they find can be believed, and that should give us a little bit peace of mind. But yeah, it just keeps unfolding. We're going to get little driplets of informational water of what's going on here with Wander. But yeah, that's the latest.
Yeah, and really what I think the Rays need to do, and probably what they are doing, is you need to have your contingencies in place, and you need to be prepared as if Wander Franco isn't going to be a part of this ball club the rest of this year and maybe ever. Like, you need to start organizing and banding together and figure out, what are we going to do going forward? Who is our future shortstop going forward? Is it Basabe? Is it Taylor Walls? Is it Carson Williams, who made the jump from single A to triple A? When is it going to be Junior Caminero time? I guess he's more of a, maybe third base-esque type, but they need to start making their preparations and precautions to say there could be a situation and a stance where he's no longer in a Rays uniform. So get geared for that, Rays fans. I'd be curious. I have not driven through I-75 or to St. Petersburg lately. I mean, really in several weeks, but I wonder if those Rays Wander Franco billboards are still hanging or if they're in the process or already have been swapped out.
No way they're gone.
There.
No way they're gone. That would be crazy. That would be, first of all, that would be crazy fast. But man, like that would just be, I think, wouldn't that just be kind of,
it'd be like proven you're guilty before you got to be proven innocent, more or less.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I don't know. That's a tricky thing with the billboard. I don't know if they would do that, but if you live in St. Pete or you go to St. Pete often and you know what we're talking about, which billboards we're talking about, and you have not seen them, please let us know. Why not? Yeah. That's a nice little things that the Locked On Rays community can help and provide content for us. But man, it's not gonna die soon, and I do agree with you, the fact that they have to have a contingency plan. I know that the one that can wait is the future one, but right now it's like, what are we going to do if we don't have Wander for the rest of 2023? Like, what are we going to do? What's the plan? If Ulises Basabe is able to kind of take that, awesome. But again, you're still missing a huge offensive contributor in your lineup. Like, that's a massive bat that you no longer have. So what do you do to supplement that? Is it because are guys supposed to just step up like Paredes, Josh Lowe, Luke Raley, Brandon Lowe? But how much can you ask of them to step up there?
I think you just have to tell them, keep being you. What you've done to this point in this season, keep being you, and it's our job to find a capable replacement or replacements going forward. That's the thing. I feel like you got to try not to make this a distraction internally, but the focus can't be on, hey, Wander's gone, everybody else get your S together. Like, you got to play out of your shoes. I mean, maybe you just have to roll with the punches, basically. And to throw another wrinkle into all of this, I don't know if you saw, but Hector Gomez, who I think is a very respected and reputed reporter covering, basically Latin players and I think the Dominican Republic. So he's got a strong, loyal following. He says, and it was reposted by Talking Baseball, he says a person very close to the investigation into the case of Wander Franco, quote, "It will be very unlikely that Wander Franco will play in MLB again, judging by the results of the investigations that are currently being carried out, which directly commit him to the accusations against him." So, like I said a couple minutes ago, everybody needs to be prepared and get geared up for the likelihood that you will never see Wander in a Rays uniform or in an Angels uniform or a Dodgers uniform, or obviously for Rays fans' purposes, the Wander Franco thing might be no more. And that's a blow. And that's why I kind of said that you, at this point, as part of him being on the restricted list, you have to move on. You cannot let this be a distraction, obviously, but you have to everybody needs to act like he's basically like Shane McClanahan. You're not going to see him the rest of the season, and you might never see him again.
That's the mentality, I think, that this clubhouse and the fandom needs to kind of prepare themselves as, what's life after Wander? What does that lineup look like? What does the clubhouse look like? What does the offensive production look like? Because this is so serious that, I mean, we're not only talking about, will he ever play for the Rays again? It's like he'll never play baseball again, at least in MLB. Like, that's a given. So it's just not Rays uniform only. It's like MLB. So this is incredibly serious. hopefully we get some information on it sooner rather than later. But I agree with your point. I think the way to act is, hey, Wander's not coming back.
Right. Yeah. So unfortunately, and didn't mean to bury the lead there, but I just saw that checking up and scrolling through and just wanted to mention it. And again, I think we're trying to have cooler heads prevail in the sense of let's not cast stones and dispersions before anything has been wrapped up, but just speaking on the field baseball end of things, that get ready for somebody else to man the shortstop position for the next ever, basically. For
and I just want to say, like, and we're focusing on the baseball aspect, okay? Like, there's another human aspect which is horrific, but I think we're an outlet for people to just kind of let go a little bit of reality, and this one is pretty tough to do so with that, to not bring it back to a real place. But at the end of the day, this is a baseball podcast, and I don't want to, like, sour it with all that disgustingness or possible disgustingness.
We're not locked on Law and Order, locked on courtroom, locked on investigations. So we'll just leave it at that. And once whatever gets handed down, a verdict, a sentencing, a ruling, then we can discuss it at that point and at that moment. But for right now, anyway, as of this episode, we'll keep it on the field and basically, so you hope that there's some sense of the team that kind of bands and rallies together of, you know what, we're not going to let injuries, off the field issues affect us. We're good enough. We got enough guys. We got enough dudes in this clubhouse to make things happen. And these guys are professional athletes. And I think that maybe that's the way that they roll with it. And like I said before, maybe it is a little breath of fresh air in that clubhouse of not having, if Wander is reputed to be, as bad or uncomfortable teammate to be around, maybe it is kind of like, all right, we can breathe a little bit more. There could be something to be said with that too. No matter how good you are on the field, just bringing a little bit nicer, enjoyable vibes into the workplace, because it is a workplace.
Yeah. So hopefully, that's happening and they don't get too distracted. But you know what? Let's pick this mood up in the last minute and a half of the show for people. Luke Raley was able to go home to home in 15.3 seconds, which is pretty darn fast. Okay. 15.3 seconds. He is a top professional athlete. Okay. Kevin, my question to you is, how long would it take you, Kevin Weiss, to go from home to home?
So it took him 15 seconds and change.
15.3.
I'd say over 20 seconds, probably like 22, 23. We'd have to see. I'm not much of a sprinter anymore.
You're more of a cross-country guy. That's right.
More of a long distance, yeah. Although that's starting to go away as well. So to put it pointedly, Luke Raley is more athletic than I am. He's stronger than I am. He's faster than I am. He can hit a baseball further than I can. I've yet to see his golf game. Maybe I can edge him in that realm. We'll see.
There you go.
I know he can, carry more logs and trees from place to place than I can. So no, he's been definitely a godsend for this team, and a guy who does lift the team based on his on the field performance and his kind of heart and hustle vibe as well. And a great story nonetheless, because he has had to work very hard in a very long time to get to this point, and you hope he has some staying power going forward. And I think that he could be a guy that the Rays decide to not necessarily give a contract extension to or anything like that, but keep him in the fold for the next couple of years. Heck, hasn't he played a little first base? Maybe that also allowed the Rays to move off of Kyle Manzardo. Like, we can do something with Luke Raley here if Yandy Diaz goes down, or once his contract expires. So
good point.
All right. Hope you all enjoyed this episode and have a wonderful day. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. And we will talk to you tomorrow. Stay safe.